And welcome everyone into the Haskell House for Explore Clarion's broadcast of the Main Street Sports Show, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet. We're back with another week on Thursday, and the sun's out for us in the backdrop now because it's springtime. And with springtime, basketball season's concluding, track and field is starting up a little bit. We have a discussion with basketball coach at AC Valley, Jess Quinn, today, and I'm joined by returning co-host Mike Kalinowski. Mike, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good, and I'm glad to be back too.
Absolutely. Our guest, as I mentioned, is head coach of pretty much a lot of things out in this area in terms of his entire coaching repertoire, but currently AC Valley track and field and boys basketball, and that's Jess Quinn. Jess, how are you doing? He's joined by senior at AC Valley at boys basketball, Clover. How you doing, guys?
Good. Good, fantastic. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. So just general banter to start off the first 5-minute segment. Just how's everyone going? How's everyone's brackets going in March Madness? And any big plans for Easter for any of you guys?
I was just going to say, with Duquesne winning today, it was one that I picked. An old friend of mine is one of their play-by-play guys, Alex Panamaros, used to be with Red Zone Media. Okay. And so Alex and I were talking. He said, I think this team could win a couple games. So I said, okay, I'm going to pick you. So I'm still alive there. I know it's kind of hurt some people's brackets, but so I'm happy.
Absolutely. How closely have you guys been following it?
We watched it all day at school. We turned it on at lunch, and we didn't quit watching until the end of the day.
Yeah, I had a couple young men. I don't know if I want to, out myself, but ninth period homeroom, they were getting on their phones, and that's how I knew Duquesne won. They were kind of checking because it blew up their bracket, but it's all fun.
Absolutely. I went to Robert Morris, so Duquesne was our rival Pittsburgh school, but when we see them win this stuff, it's obviously awesome.
That's where my daughter went to school.
Oh yeah, awesome. Any big plans for Easter for any of you guys?
Just family dinner at my
house.
Yeah.
A little bit earlier than normal. Also, I want to mention in general, Clarion, Explore Clarion news. We got a new website for all those to check out. That's what I'm assuming some of you guys are watching this on. Of course, our YouTube channel as well. And then, of course, we want to thank Redbank Chevrolet and all of our other sponsors that make this show possible. When we come back, we'll do a sports segment with national sports, and then we'll jump into our main interview portion with Jay and Jess. Anything else you want to add?
No, it sounds pretty good. I'm excited to get going and get this interview going, too. I think these are great guys. It's going to be fun to talk to.
Absolutely.
I just want to say congratulations, Mike. The Sports Hall of Fame, absolutely. Clarion University, Penn West Clarion, great. It's you should be very proud. Absolutely.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Well, absolutely. We'll come back here in a little bit, and we'll jump into our national sports headlines, what's going on in the NFL, MLB, all that good stuff. College sports, some big news with Shohei Ohtani we'll get to. Some interesting news there. Then we'll jump into our main interview segment. That's all coming up on exploreClarion.com, the Redbank Chevrolet Main Street Sports Show, live from the Haskell House and sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet.
Welcome to 12 Series, a veteran-owned and operated company. Want to stand out amongst the crowd? This is the brand for you. They have apparel that ranges from cardio tanks and hoodies to sweat noggin covers. The apparel isn't just designed for the gym, it's designed for everyday life. Whether at work, the range, or at a family outing, 12 Series will turn heads. Find and like 12 Series on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey Julie, nice deck! Did you get that at Tio Nesta Builder Supply?
It's Tio Nesta Builder Supply, and yes, Dave, I did.
Wonder if they sell siding and roofing at Tio Nesta Builder Supply.
It's Tio Nesta, and yes, Tio Nesta Builder Supply has that too. Come on, Dave. You've never been there? They have 2 showrooms for anything home improvement. Mom got a custom kitchen there. Bill down the street got the materials for his garage. They have this awesome website, www.tionestabuilders.us. You can buy online. They really have everything for the home.
Wow! I'm heading over to Tio Nesta. I know. Tio Nesta Builders.
Tio Nesta Builder Supply Home Improvement Center. Family owned and operated since 1958 with locations in Tio Nesta and Shippenville.
That sounds good. I'll check them out online at tionestabuilders.us. U.S.
You can afford a gorgeous, custom-designed hardwood Kale's Kitchen for a lot less than you'd pay at a DIY store. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. At Kale's, there are never middleman markups or hidden charges that can add 40%. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. That's FactoryDirectKitchens.net.
Clarion Forest VNA believes the emotional and physical well-being of a patient is enhanced by the patient receiving care in the familiar surroundings of home. Their staff of caring professionals work closely with physicians to administer quality care to meet the needs of each individual. As a pioneer in home health care in Clarion and Forest County, Clarion Forest VNA continue to grow to meet the community's need for in-home care, offering many different services and programs to meet the patient's need. Clarion Forest VNA, located at 271 Perkins Road in Clarion. Call us toll-free at 1-800-262-2118.
Protect your home or business from all those sneaky pests. Give Hugh Henry's Pest Management a call at 814-316-1875 or check them out online at bugguy.com. Pest Management, where nature and technology meet.
Welcome back to the Explore Clarion Main Street Sports Show on Redbank, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet, and live from the Haskell House. I'm here with Hall of Famer Mike Kalinowski, which I was just learning about during the break. I'm surprised I didn't learn about it. But when is that official announcement? You told me during the break, but when is it officially going to be, or has it already been?
They made the announcement, and the ceremony is going to be on the 26th of April, so I'm looking forward to that. And it was a surprise. It was a very nice honor, and again, I do appreciate all the kind words that everyone has given me. I know I've had a lot of texts and emails, and but I do thank you.
Yeah. Down at the university is where it's going to be?
Yep, it'll be at Tippin Gymnasium.
Sounds good. We'll jump into some general sports headlines right now, and we'll start with March Madness, which we talked about a little bit before. I'm not really involved in it. I don't watch it. I know my brothers do, but any big surprises other than Duquesne in your guys' brackets?
No, I mean, I was looking some of the scores today. Michigan State beat Mississippi. Duquesne, the winner, that was the surprise over BYU. Creighton, no surprise, beat Akron. I just jotted them down before we came on. Arizona, a number 1 seed, they knocked off Long Beach State. North Carolina over Wagner, and Illinois beat Morehead State. So I don't think any surprises other than really Duquesne.
Yeah, I don't think that there was any surprises. We were watching a little bit when we were down there. Oregon was up by 10, but I mean, that was still, a lot of time to play left, so I don't know how that one played out, but I'd say Duquesne was the biggest surprise, and great for them, local, an hour away or so, and,
sure.
And good for them.
Yeah, I told these guys too, my students today, the girls were upset, and they said, Mr. K, we have to fill out a girls bracket. We're going to challenge you. So I did the women's bracket, so we'll see how that pans out. So
yeah,
it'll be fun.
Absolutely. Not going too far with your betting and gambling and things like that, which leads me to the next thing on our list is what's going on with Shohei. I don't know if I really have a reaction to it. It's just kind of a thing that happened. I'm not a huge MLB fan, but it's definitely an interesting story when possibly the best athlete in maybe all sports gets in trouble for that kind of stuff. Any reaction to that?
Yeah, and what was it, his interpreter or whatever was stealing from him, apparently?
And he was gambling away his money. They're a lot of gambling trouble, so I don't know the entirety of it.
It was like $4 million, though. I would love to have $4 million to gamble away.
Yeah.
Kind of like Brett English's money.
Yeah, no, Brett. Absolutely. And then just in general, the MLB season's going to start soon. Right. We'll jump into Pirates here real quick. I don't have much on them. They signed Domingo German and Michael A. Taylor to 1-year deals. I don't know who either of those players are, but good for them. Good for the Pirates. Looking forward to go to maybe 1 or 2 games this spring. On to the Penguins. Same old stuff at this point in the season. The season's, there's a very, very slim chance they make the playoffs, but they're not making the playoffs. All I want right now is for any team to knock the Flyers out of the third wild card or the third spot in the East, and I'll root for the Capitals at this point. I don't want to see the Flyers make the playoffs. So.
Yeah, I jotted that down. Just coming up with some notes and said, playoff hopes quickly fading because it's gone. One of those things. But that's a team that hasn't had to rebuild for years, so that's what you're going to see happen, and they'll probably come back just as strong.
Yeah, I hope so. The plan is to do it before Sid retires, is what Dubas said the other day. Also, in some sad Penguins news, Konstantin Koltsov died at 42. He was a former Penguin in the Generation X days before the Penguins were good and got Crosby and Fleury and Stahl, and then of course Malk and Letang, and all the good players basically. But that's definitely sad to see. And then real quick with the Steelers, Justin Fields happened since our last episode. I know it's been a while now, but that happened this past weekend. I was very happy to see it, especially for the price tag that the Steelers gave up. Not much, a 6th-round pick that can become a 4th-round pick. So Justin Fields and Russell Wilson is the Steelers quarterback pair as of right now, which is a lot different than it was last year at this time, or even just a couple months ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like the big turnover. Just boom, let's just try this group and see what happens. So.
Kenny Pickett, I think, happened since our last episode too, because that would have been the day before.
Yeah.
Right, and when you look at it, the quarterback position has been a question mark since Ben had retired, and coming up with some veteran guys in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. I mean, you go in, they're pretty good quarterbacks, they're good athletes. They can hopefully make some plays.
Yeah, you kind of, and you wonder, is this a one-year fix? Is this going to be
Right.
an ongoing thing? But you have to wait and see.
Absolutely. Right. And the Steelers are also linked to Brandon Ayuk, which I would be very happy about if they get him. Tweeting about Mike Tomlin. So I don't know, maybe that could happen. The thing that I'll say about both the Steelers and even a little bit of the Pirates, I'm happy that they're making risky moves, kind of not super risky, but they're making an effort that the old Steelers and Pirates, they would have re-signed Kenny Pickett, kept him for a couple more years, see if they could, ride it out with him. Even the Penguins for a little bit, getting Erik Karlsson was a big change. At least let's try something type thing. So that's what gets me excited. And for the first time in a while, I've been excited to watch the Steelers this upcoming season, because going into last season, I'm like, all right, we know we're gonna have a good defense, but Kenny Pickett,
big question mark.
Deontay Johnson, so I'm very excited for this upcoming season. And then just real quick, we'll just do, since we have a little bit of time here, we'll do Today in Sports History that I have that written down. 1961, Art Modell buys the Cleveland Browns for a little under $4 million.
Yeah, I wrote that down.
Did you actually? Yeah.
I did, because I know you had that segment, so I'm like, I need to find a couple things too. So we'll run down your list.
Yeah.
And $3.9 million at the time, I'm sure, was a ton of money in 1961. But today, $3.9 million is pocket change for most of these guys.
Yeah.
So
that's like a snapper's payroll or something like that. And then in similar buying franchise news, the Pittsburgh Associates in 1985 bought the Pittsburgh Pirates for $218 million. So just over the course of however many years there, they.
And it was interesting with that group too, because you think about when they bought them. They actually, under that group, had them for 10 years, and they had 3 NL East championships with that ownership group. They didn't go past that. They won their division, but then didn't make it any further, But so, I mean, they had some success.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping to see in the future here, This Day in Sports History, Ben Cherington sells the Pittsburgh Pirates on This Day in Sports History. So,
well,
I'm hoping
good
to
luck.
see that soon.
Yeah, I don't hold your breath right now.
Too much money to have a subpar team.
No,
so.
yeah. And then also in 1994, I wrote down, and there's actually something that recently happened that can tie into this. Wayne Gretzky tied Gordie Howe in This Day in 1994 for the NHL's all-time goals record at 801. He, of course, went on to surpass that. I think the record's 890, something like that. And then most recently, I was watching the game last night. Alex Ovechkin, came into the league with Sidney Crosby. He's now only 50 goals away from passing Wayne Gretzky, which we never thought would happen.
That's amazing.
For the all-time lead in NHL goals, which, as a Penguins fan, rival of, a bunch of Ovechkin teams through the years, but still, that's phenomenal. That's unprecedented. We never thought that record was going to be broken. So if he gets there, that'll be fantastic. He's 38, I think Ovi is now. He's got 2 or 3 years left on his deal. He needs 50 goals. Yep. So he's not the same player he was, but yeah. Well, when we come back, we'll be doing a quick. We'll have a quick commercial break, of course, and then we'll come back with our actual core interview segment with AC Valley boys basketball head coach Jess Quinn and 1,000 point scorer this past season, senior Jay Clover. And that's all coming up on the Redbank Chevrolet Main Street Sports Show. And then, of course, we have a message here from Redbank Chevrolet, our guests at Redbank Chevrolet right now.
This is a great show.
Hey, check out this all-new 2024 Chevrolet Trax 1RS in Cacti Green. Let's talk about some of those safety features. We have blind spot monitoring system, we have forward collision system with alert and brake, and we have lane departure warning as well. How about the gas mileage?
30 miles per gallon average. Yeah, it's great. Bumper to bumper warranty and the 5-year 60,000 mile powertrain warranty.
And check out the clarity on this backup camera on this 11-inch touchscreen. Can you believe you get all the features like heated steering wheel, heated seats, remote start, power sunroof, all for $24,900?
It's a great value in the new Chevrolet. Hey, check out this Glacier Blue RST Silverado 4x4 Z71 4-wheel drive. 5.3 liter V8. It's a really nice sharp truck. All LT and RST Silverados have this same interior. Got this really large touchscreen display, built-in Google Maps, heated seats, automatic climate control, heated steering wheel. We have a backup camera, really great display, and all the safety aspects. Adaptive parking, adaptive braking, pedestrian braking, blind spot mitigation.
Follow us to Redbank Chevrolet.
Throughout West Central Pennsylvania, people are losing their glasses. Well, they haven't really lost them. They just don't need them anymore. Thanks to the amazing LASIK surgeons at Laurel Eye Clinic. Call Laurel Eye Clinic and schedule your free consultation.
Hi, my name is Jason and welcome to Sweet Basil. Come on in.
Welcome back to the Haskell House for the exploreClarion.com Redbank Chevrolet Main Street Sports Show. We're joined here by two members of AC Valley boys basketball, Jay Clover and head coach Jess Quinn. I'm joined by my co-host Mike Kalinowski, the Hall of Famer, and we'll just be diving into our main interview segment. I want to start at the very beginning. I know both of you have been playing sports pretty much for the entirety of your life, so we'll start with just both of you. When was the turning point in your life? Super young when you got into sports, just in general.
We'll ask him that. We won't have to go back that far for me.
I started playing basketball when I was about 5 or 6 in kindergarten. Started out playing soccer and I didn't really like it, and I walked over to Dad one night and I was like, Dad, I don't want to do this anymore. He's like, that's fine, but you're going to finish the season. He says you're not going to quit something in the middle. Whatever you do, you got to finish it out. And then I started playing basketball, and I really liked it. Started playing at the YMCA league at the time. That was over at Union, and just kind of went from there, and I loved it ever since.
Were you always this tall?
I was never really short, but I was always big for my age. Yeah.
So I'm assuming you were always encouraged to play basketball too.
Definitely, and I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. Jess, what about you?
It just kind of like with Jay, from a young age, my grandfather and my uncle on my mom's side, both were athletes and did well. They were from Kittanning. And so, always growing up, anytime that we'd go visit, we were going down to the courts to play basketball. We were going down, we were playing football out in the yard, all that stuff. And then, as you get older, you start to watch some of the guys. It's funny, some of the guys I watched out at CL were Randy Callen, and Matt Delaney, those guys. They were fantastic, and you always wanted to, I was probably in 7th or 8th grade when they were on the varsity team, and you watch those guys, you always wanted to be, like those guys. So that was kind of the fuel for, wanting to do well, be as good as what they were or what we thought they were at the time. And it's just kind of grown, and it's always stayed with me, always.
I know for me, Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins was the reason I started playing hockey. Was there a specific team for you or a specific athlete or a role model? Even just doesn't even have to be a professional athlete. You said just watching some of the older guys in your own school.
It's kind of what it was for me. I always saw like a lot of guys. They actually helped. We had like I think it was called Little Dribblers, and it was always the high school kids helped the elementary school kids. And I was like, man, I want to be like them someday, because there was a couple guys they could dunk and they dribble through their legs, and at the time, you're bobbling around trying to do the same thing, and I always thought it was cool and just thought it'd be something really cool to do.
Football for me was watching guys like Walter Payton run the ball, Roger Craig back from the San Francisco 49ers. And then as I got older, it was more of kind of the Barry Sanders type who didn't celebrate. I mean, he always said, that's where you're expected to end up, is in the end zone. And so you watch those guys, and you really wanted to be like them. In the NBA, of course, it was Michael Jordan, and the dynasty. Well, before that was the Pistons, and you watch the Bad Boys in Detroit, and but then you watch Michael Jordan and just the level that he competed at, and always drew the other guys up to where he was. It just was special. So you always look at those guys and you wanted to be, Michael Jordan, you wanted to be MJ, you wanted to be Walter Payton, and that fueled a lot of the desires and things for me.
And you've had a chance to coach many different schools in the area, currently at AC Valley, and you also were a player not only in high school, but you played college while here at the college as well at Clarion. When it came to the biggest impact on you, getting you involved later on as a coach, who were some of the biggest guys in your past that had the biggest impact on you to get you to want to take that next step and be a coach?
Probably the biggest was Clyde Connie. He was my high school coach, and when I was a sophomore, it was his first year back at CL, and I don't know if he knows this, but I almost quit. It was tough. We didn't get water breaks, it was like 1987 and those types of things. But he was absolutely influential because he demanded more out of us than what we thought we could give. And when you have somebody like that, boy, you don't want to let them down. And so it makes you strive harder and harder. And then when I got to college, Coach Cadis, we were talking about Dave Cadis, he was always on me, and rightfully so. And Gene Soboleski, they really had an influence in my early 20s. And I always thought, I want an opportunity to give back. I want to have a young man have those feelings, that desire, to know that I, expect more of him, push him, and then when he reaches that goal, sit back and watch him celebrate it like he did with his 1,000th point. Even though I didn't have anything to do with the first 700 points, but very, very special.
Now, Jay, you're a senior, obviously. Mm-hmm. I think I overheard you before the show. You said you're not playing a spring sport this year.
No, not this year.
So you're done with your athletic high school career. Yep. What is that like? Has it sunk in yet?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's different. I still pick up a basketball a couple times a week. I don't ever want to let that go, but it's different, kind of realizing that, going to practice every day after school at 4:30 and stuff is kind of over. But, I mean, just the next chapter in life, I guess.
And what is that next chapter in life for you?
I'm still going to stay at my job I'm at now at TCS over the summer, and then I'm going to Global Power Line Academy in the fall to be an electric lineman and hopefully someday be a helicopter lineman.
Now, is coaching involved in that? Have you thought about that at all?
I want to travel lineman for a few years, see the country while I'm young and then when I come back and settle down, I really would love to coach a high school team someday. Maybe start with like the younger guys at 6th grade, 5th grade, and work my way up through and try to get under a coach like Coach Quinn or somebody to, it's like you can play the game and be good, but you need to be able, a good coach has to convey that game to other people and just kind of learn how that aspect of the game and learn how to teach, young guys like I was at one time.
Of course. Now, Jess, you got to play at Clarion University football, correct?
Correct.
And then you mentioned to me on the phone an unfortunate ACL injury kind of ended that. What was that 1 year? What year was that?
1993.
Your junior, senior year?
Junior year.
Okay.
Yeah, we had won the PSAC. We beat IUP on our home field and won it that year in 92. The next year, it was the first play of the fourth quarter against Westminster. I'll never forget it. And I was squeezing Dave Gatis' hand because I was in a lot of pain, and he always reminds me of that. He said, "I still think my hand hurts." But
was that kind of the catalyst for you to? I know probably not at that moment you were thinking, "All right, I'm going to be a coach from now on." But did that kind of, I don't know, sprout your coaching career when you look back on it?
I never thought about it then, but looking back, I think so. You always want to stay, like Jay said, he's still picking up a basketball. You always want to stay involved with those things. And for me, it was always, that camaraderie that you have with the team, whether it's as a coach or as a player. And I think it can be very special. We were talking about that at dinner tonight, and that's a bond that you'll always have, when you're 50 years old and you get together with Brody Dittman, sometime. I mean, and you talk about those things. You talk about story time at practice, but it's just that. It's that special bond that you build, and I always, wanted to have that in my life.
Yeah, you had a chance this year, of course, to go to AC Valley. I know you didn't have the season you really wanted to have. I think you finished, 8-14
yes.
in the season. But you were one of those teams, too. We had a chance to see you up at Cranberry and with Mr. Clover and stuff like that. You had a formidable team. When you went out there, I know you were one of those teams that people couldn't take lightly to come out. What was it like to coach these guys and the team going down there, your first year down there? How did all that play out for you?
Well, I don't know about them, but I was pretty nervous walking in. I mean, I've coached basketball for this is my 25th year, but I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect, And from the first day, Jay was in a boot. Yep. He couldn't even practice. And in fact, first practice, you
didn't let me run. You wouldn't let me do layups. You wouldn't let me run. I was just standing there at the foul line shooting.
He was mad at me. But I told him, I said, listen, it's November. We're going to need you December, January, February. And he understood that. But, went down there and I've talked to these guys a lot. And I don't mean any disrespect whatsoever to like Coach Dittman, Brad Dittman, that was there last year. But even if I would have been able to be there over the summer to implement some things, I mean, we had our offense in and a very basic defense. And because I got there late and everything, that we could only do so much. But you're exactly right. There were so many games. Yeah, I mean, I talk about the Cambridge Spring game where Jay scored his 1,000-point. We went into overtime with them, and I think they were the District 10 2A runner-up. Yeah. And so we had a good team. I mean, we averaged only giving up 46 points a game as a defense. Now, Clarion and Redbank and some other teams, put up some good numbers. But overall, I mean, we had a really, really good defense. It's just sometimes we turned the ball over a little bit too much. And, like I said, had I been there over the summer and we could have had some time together, I think that could have been a big difference for us.
And Jay, what was that experience like for you, like having 700 points already and then seeing a coach come in pretty abruptly and then taking over a program? And
I mean, I was super excited because he coached against us my freshman year whenever we lost our first playoff game of that year at Clarion, and he was the coach then. And I always heard good things about him, and honestly, I was just excited to have a good coach coming in.
You heard good things?
I don't know. I heard good things.
That's the real story.
Mr. Sherman and Mr. Jordan always told me good things, and like he was coaching and like coaching to win, and that's the kind of coach I've always loved. Whenever we played him at Clarion, from what I remembered, 3 years ago, so I was excited.
Just building towards next year. Obviously, you're going to lose a pretty important player to your left here, but what do you like about next year's season and just building towards the future?
Well, looking at what we had, what I knew we had coming in, our offense was built on getting the ball inside. obviously. I mean, you have a player like Jay. Looking at, you're probably still having Zasheen next year. He'll be but he can get out and run too. Jay could run, but that's what I want to do. If you watch Cranberry, when they, strap your shoes tight because they like to run, and I like that style. You know what I mean? I really like that fast pace. Clarion did it a lot this year. Redbank did it. I mean, and I want to be able to implement that, but also then to slow it down like we did this year and really try to pound the rock inside.
Absolutely. Let's move on to our next segment, which is a commercial break. We'll be back on the Redbank Chevrolet Main Street Sports Show in a minute.
Dubrook, a division of M&B Group, is your trusted local ready-mix supplier for residential and commercial projects. Dubrook provides a full line of decorative concrete, as well as concrete supplies, along with a variety of concrete tools and accessories. Dubrook can provide services large or small for residential and commercial projects to contractors or homeowners. Dubrook is here to provide you with options and ideas to make planning your next project simple. Let Dubrook help you with the supplies you need to get the job done. Dubrook is proud to support our local communities with plants in Clarion, Du Bois, St. Mary's, Butler, Evans City, Bradford, and Meadville. Call 1-844-382-7665.
No matter how cold it is outside, you can keep warm and toasty inside with a built-in-the-USA super efficient furnace from Luton's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Affordable, quiet, and reliable. You can count on your furnace from Luton's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Clarion Forest VNA believes the emotional and physical well-being of a patient is enhanced by the patient receiving care in the familiar surroundings of home. Their staff of caring professionals work closely with physicians to administer quality care to meet the needs of each individual. As a pioneer in home health care in Clarion and Forest County, Clarion Forest VNA continue to grow to meet the community's need for in-home care, offering many different services and programs to meet the patient's need. Clarion Forest VNA, located at 271 Perkins Road in Clarion. Call us toll-free at 1-800-262-2118.
You can afford a gorgeous, custom-designed hardwood Kales kitchen for a lot less than you'd pay at a DIY store. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. At Kales, there are never middleman markups or hidden charges that can add 40%. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. That's FactoryDirectKitchens.net.
Welcome back to the Redbank Chevrolet Main Street Sports Show on exploreClarion.com and from the Haskell House. Just jump right back into our conversation here with AC Valley members of boys basketball, head coach Jess Quinn and Jay Clover. I want to talk about the 1,000 game, or the 1,000-point game. Jay, where was that exactly? I know where it was, but I just want you to say it because I went to a rival school. Yeah, and what was that game like in the moment exactly?
Oh, it felt really good. A lot of people from AC Valley were there, even though it was like 2 hours away. It's a hike. I didn't know they were there until I scored my 1,000 and everybody's screaming for me, but it felt really good. It felt like a really big accomplishment because a lot of those guys on that board I've played with at alumni ball and different things and always looked up to the guys. When I was younger in like 6th grade, we'd go in there to play hoops and stuff, and I'd sit out there and stare at the board and just read all the names on it, and I was like, that'd be awesome to be up there one day.
What kind of shot was it that?
Foul shot. I hit 1,000 dead on.
Yep. How about it? Do you know what you're at finishing off your career?
I think the board. I think 1,092 or something like that.
93 maybe, something like 92 or 93, right?
Yeah, and that'll be next year. Usually, it's like it'll take until when you get it officially enshrined up there. Just any overall comments on the 1,000 points, Jess?
Well, he needed 16. Ended the game with 26 or something like that, and it was all in the first half. Not the 26, but the 16 was in the first half. And I tell you what, Cambridge Springs was fabulous. They stopped the game. They gave me the microphone. You know, I know it's hard to believe I got to talk, but I've been a part of a few athletes scoring their 1,000 point, and I can remember it, and I will not forget the way, because like Cam Craig, he scored his, it was a 3-pointer. He scored his, the old-fashioned 3-pointer. You know, so it was very, very special, not only for him, but for the team to have that success and celebrate it with Jay was, of course, fantastic.
Now, outside of 1,000 points, any other specific basketball memories stand out over your 4 years at AC Valley? Or, and I'm sure you have plenty over your coaching and playing career.
When I was a freshman, Levi Orton, he scored our school record. And when I was in 3rd grade, I played up with the 6th and 5th graders, and I played with Levi. And I was like, when I'm a freshman, I want to get bumped up so I can play with Levi senior year. And he liked Penny and Tanner Merwin, and that ended up happening. I got to start with Levi, and I got to play in him with that game when he scored the school record, so that was really cool. That and playing alumni ball in like the little Petersburg gym, it's honestly, oh geez, it's tiny, like 1940s small. It's always having fun doing that.
For me, you know, we had a conversation, and I was saying about, you know, the KSAC championship we won up at North Clarion. We beat DCC. That was in 2000, my first year. Clear back with Rob Leone. He was from a great coach from Brooklyn, New York. 03. But I tell you what, I really think what I remember the most is exactly what I just said about Jay, scoring his 1,000 point. I mean, I remember, you know, rushing for 1,000 yards and breaking the school record and what that meant. And to reach a milestone like that, like I just mentioned, like Cam Craig, when he scored it, I'll never forget that. And being able to coach the quality young men that they are, you know, with Jay and with Cam, with Ryan Ritz, I could go on and on and on with a bunch of guys. Just to be a part of their experience is what I think is very, very special.
Yeah, one thing on top of basketball and everything else, though, you're an author. And I was looking, and you can buy Before Becoming a Man. It's on Amazon. And I have not had a chance to read it, but I am going to read it. I read a lot of the previews of it, and it seems very interesting. But you're an elementary teacher as well. And what kind of spurred you to want to become a writer and put a book out like that?
I've always just thought about my experience. I was growing up in Katanning, walking to school, and if you read that book, the walk to school of the main character was my walk to school. You know, we'd walk down the train tracks and find an old glass Pepsi bottle, and if it wasn't chipped or broken, you could take it into a candy store and get a nickel or a dime, depending on the deposit. And you know, my cousins and I would always share that, like penny candy, get a Tootsie Roll or, you know, something like that. And then when I was in elementary school, I always loved to read. I was just fascinated with Native American culture and what young men had to do to become men of the tribe. And that's kind of where the title, Before Becoming a Man, what they had to do. And then, Mike, you know, you being teaching in the teaching profession, you know, bullying is just huge. And I thought if I could kind of morph those three things together, and somebody could take one thing out of that about either bullying somebody else or, you know, standing up for yourself and doing those types of things, well, then I would consider it a success. And you know, I've had a lot of comments of the kids that have read it, and you know, they tell me that it stopped and made them think about the way that we treat each other. So you know, it's kind of where it kind of came from. So.
Yeah, and that's one thing too. And you said as a teacher, and I had it in my notes about the idea in that book with the bullying and things like that. And I'm sure you dealt with it too, growing up through school. And you know, we've all bullied or been bullied. You know, and just trying to get kids, and it's so hard. And I'm in the high school, you're in the elementary school, just to try to get it into these kids to be kind to each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you never know what someone's day is like, or what their home life is like, or what they have to deal with. And it's just one of those important things. And that's something that we don't and I know you as a coach too are still teaching when you go out there, and I'm sure you're still talking about some of those same things when it comes to the athletes.
Well, Jay was saying, to you guys, talking about story time, and you could ask him about some of the stories. The reason I did that was to kind of show them there's so many parallels to playing a sport in life. There's hardships. There's you hurt your ankle. There's the highs. There's the lows. We didn't have the season that we wanted to. I was really expecting us to make a nice run and get into the playoffs. That didn't happen. That's my fault. But then the highs to watch a young man like Jay scores 1,000 points, it's just incredible. So those are the types of things that like you said, depending on what somebody's day's like, you don't know, and it could vary day to day. I had a young lady today wanted to eat lunch with a friend in my room, and I said absolutely. Well, here I didn't know she had a pretty crummy day, and that helped lift her spirits for the rest of the day. So just little things like that, and
things like that. I'm sure even when you were coming up, you mentioned about watching the older kids and what part of that. But to have one of those older kids just kind of befriend you and say, hey, you know what, and maybe help you out a little bit too.
Oh, definitely.
Jay, have you read the book?
No, I have not. Not yet. I told him this season we talked about. I told him I'm going to read it.
See, that's going to be our assignment. The next time we're going to come back and we're going to do a review.
I'm going to give him a quiz. I'm going to see. Did he read Cliff Notes? Did he read the whole thing?
Yeah. Did he actually read it?
I read the summary on Amazon, and it said it was like kind of geared towards mid-teen. Is that what?
Yeah.
And is that because you're kind of educating at that age?
Yeah, and at the time that I wrote it, I was teaching 4th grade, and at the time there were kids like Greg Kalinowski coming through that I had to throw that out there.
Bless you.
No, it's just a 4th grader, a 10 or 11-year-old would be kind of young, but it was geared, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old. Just basically what we go through at that age. Things can be very, very awkward, and it's just to be kind to one another is huge. You don't have to be everybody's best friend, but respecting everybody should happen.
My question too, because I always wondered. You chose elementary education. I'm in secondary education, and I always say in our school we don't pay the elementary teachers quite enough because you guys are with the same group of kids for the majority of the day and things like that. Why did you choose elementary? Now, I always wonder, because I chose high school because I just get along. It seems better with the older kids, but is it?
I'll give you kind of a long answer first. When I went into education in my first year, I went out to CL. And everybody that was teaching there that I apologized to. And I meant that sincerely. And I went into elementary because I would have probably choked myself. I tell the kids this all the time, Jay. If we could shrink our room down to the size of a fly and go back in time, you would be like, Mr. Quinn, that was you? And I'd say, yeah, I'm sorry. Especially that young age, to have an impact. And I'm kind of special in the way that I get to coach. I get to coach somebody who is a young man and help try to mold that into a young man of character. But I also get to see them when they are younger and kind of, especially today, Mike, there are a lot of kids that come in that don't have a positive male model at home. So, I take that role very seriously, and it's actually a great mix to be able to coach the older guys, but teach the younger guys.
And you've been at Clarion area since 1999, or?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Same room, or has
you
moved around?
Actually,
or?
I've taught. I started in 5th, went to 4th, and now I'm in 6th grade.
So relatively the same
right.
thing. That's
same age group. It's been a fantastic place to teach. I've worked with a lot of really, really good people, worked with and for guys like Todd Macbeth, Roger Walter. I taught with them, and then they became my principals. And it's just been an incredible voyage.
And then your coaching career is a little bit opposite. You've been to a bunch of different schools, a bunch of different sporting events, or not events, but classifications, different sports and things like that. And when we get back, I want to talk a little bit about that. That's all coming up on the Redbank Chevrolet Main Street Sports Show, live from the Haskell House on exploreClarion.com.
Welcome to 12 Series, a veteran-owned and operated company. Want to stand out amongst the crowd? This is the brand for you. They have apparel that ranges from cardio tanks and hoodies to sweat noggin covers. The apparel isn't just designed for the gym, it's designed for everyday life. Whether at work, the range, or at a family outing, 12 Series will turn heads. Find and like 12 Series on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey Julie, nice deck. Did you get that at Tio Nesta Builder Supply?
It's Tio Nesta Builder Supply, and yes, Dave, I did.
Wonder if they sell siding and roofing at Tio Nesta Builder Supply.
It's Tio Nesta, and yes, Tio Nesta Builder Supply has that too. Come on, Dave. You've never been there? They have 2 showrooms for anything home improvement. Mom got a custom kitchen there. Bill down the street got the materials for his garage. They have this awesome website, www.tionestabuilders.us. You can buy online. They really have everything for the home.
Wow, I'm heading over to Tio Nesta. I know. Tio Nesta Builders.
Tio Nesta Builder Supply Home Improvement Center, family owned and operated since 1958, with locations in Tio Nesta and Shippenville.
That sounds good. I'll check them out online at tionestabuilders.us.
Clarion Forest VNA believes the emotional and physical well-being of a patient is enhanced by the patient receiving care in the familiar surroundings of home. Their staff of caring professionals work closely with physicians to administer quality care to meet the needs of each individual. As a pioneer in home health care in Clarion and Forest County, Clarion Forest VNA continue to grow to meet the community's need for in-home care, offering many different services and programs to meet the patient's need. Clarion Forest VNA, located at 271 Perkins Road in Clarion. Call us toll-free at 1-800-262-2118.
Throughout West Central Pennsylvania, people are losing their glasses. Well, they haven't really lost them. They just don't need them anymore. Thanks to the amazing LASIK surgeons at Laurel Eye Clinic. Call Laurel Eye Clinic and schedule your free consultation.
Protect your home or business from all those sneaky pests. Give Hugh Henry's Pest Management a call at 814-316-1875 or check them out online at bugguy.com. Pest Management, where nature and technology meet.
Welcome back to the Haskell House on exploreClarion.com, the Redbank Chevrolet Main Street Sports Show. We talked a little bit before the break there. Jess, you've coached in a lot of different schools, but mainly in the Clarion County area. And I know we talked, Jay, your impressions of him. You saw him a lot before he became your coach. What are all the schools exactly, if I can name them all? I know I can't probably name them off the bat, but AC Valley, Clarion, Keystone, CL.
I started off in '99, coached with Ron Weiser over at Keystone and track before, that was the spring before I got hired at Clarion. And then at Clarion, I coached that first year, I coached with Larry Weiser on the varsity staff, and then with Rob Leone in basketball, and then with Rob Leone again in the spring. And almost got divorced, so that, there's a lot of coaching that first couple of years. And then AC Valley with basketball, and most recently out at CL with track. I know my wife tells me I have a hard time saying no. But again, I am very thankful that Dave Sherman, gave me the shot, to not only coach guys like Jay, but just to, get back in the gym and have that part of my life again was special.
Absolutely. I think, sorry.
I was going to say, too, you've had the chance, because not only coaching, too, you've been behind the microphone, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've had an opportunity to do all kinds of stuff. What's that like, too, being a coach and then having the opportunity to get behind a microphone and then talk to people about that? How different is that?
Well, one of the things that we did together was like during halftime, we would talk about what the coaches would be looking at, what would they be talking about, what did they need to improve on, what were they doing well, and that was fantastic. But it also gave me a chance, Jay and I, we laugh about this, but it gave me a chance to step back and really see it for all that it is. And one of the things that I said to Dr. Jordan and to Dave Sherman was, I really wanted the boys to have a positive experience. Even if somebody as good as Jay, he's going to lineman school. Maybe down the road he'll get into coaching and things like that, but he's not going to go play. In my 25 years, I've only had maybe 2 guys go and play college and finish their career. John Smith was one up at Madai, and he became their all-time leading rebounder. Scored 1,200 points, I think, in his career, something like that. So when I was able to step back from that and look at everything, I thought, if I ever get the chance, which I'm thankful for with these guys, that I was going to do it a little bit differently. I still wanted to be passionate. I still wanted to have that edge, but I just wanted to do it a little differently than what I had before. And being with you guys and behind the microphone and just being able to analyze those things gave me a different perspective, and I'm thankful for it.
I've remembered my question now. I'm sorry. Yeah. Jess, you mentioned to me last night when we talked on the phone that the thing, you've coached a lot of different schools, but the thing that keeps them all similar is that they're all small. Jay, I'm sure you've had that experience as well. What has that been like? How impactful do you think that'll have in your life as you go forth? And what do you think makes it, different from, say, like a Butler or a bigger school like that?
I know everybody in my grade, their names and stuff, and I know where the majority of them live because you're like, oh, hey, that's Richard's house or whoever whenever you go by. Like, my cousin went to Slippery Rock. I think she graduated with like 200 or 300 people. She knows like 10 other girls in that class, and that's about it. I mean, in a small school, the guys in the grades below you, most of what they do, and then you're all kind of friends and you build kind of a closer bond or relationship with the people we go to school with, I think.
Like Brett English.
Yeah, honestly. And that other schools too, because we're all small and we're up. Right. Mm-hmm. But, you pull from a different area, but like myself, I live between AC Valley and Keystone, like right at the halfway point. So I'm just as close to Keystone as I am AC Valley. So
that's a great point. And that's a nice thing too, because you build such a nice friendship around the area. Mm-hmm. You all have each other's backs. You help each other out, and that's always a positive thing with the small schools. Yeah.
Of course. And then Jess, you mentioned how that plays off on the court. Everyone seems to be a hard worker, and they play for each other too.
I said that, it's been my experience. Doesn't matter the sport, the team, the school. I look at those guys, and they would have done anything for each other down there, and it was fabulous, to be a part of a small community like that, to where each other, and when you leave off the court, win or lose, that guy's got your back because he did whatever he could for you. I tell the boys that all the time. The saying used to be, look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you did everything you could. I always say, find your best friend on the team and look him in the eye and tell him that you did everything you could for him. And when that happens, it becomes something very, very special, and it will be something that the guys take the rest of their lives.
We'll wish you the best of luck for that next basketball season, but of course, you always got to stay busy. You can't say no, so you got track coming up. And then also, before we go away, I want to mention your second book, which we didn't get to. That's coming out. You said it's coming out hopefully in the fall.
I'm hoping in the fall.
What was that one called again?
It's staying with that theme, like before becoming a man, it's before the break of dawn. Okay. And it would be about 2 young men that travel back in time. They are slaves. They escape, and they have to find somewhere to hold up before the break of dawn. So and it's my publisher said I knocked this one out of the park.
Awesome.
So I'm excited about it.
Well, thank you for joining us. We're going to take another quick break here, and that's all on the Redbank Chevrolet Main Street Sports Show.
Dubrook, a division of M&B Group, is your trusted local ready-mix supplier for residential and commercial projects. Dubrook provides a full line of decorative concrete, as well as concrete supplies, along with a variety of concrete tools and accessories. Dubrook can provide services large or small for residential and commercial projects to contractors or homeowners. Dubrook is here to provide you with options and ideas to make planning your next project simple. Let Dubrook help you with the supplies you need to get the job done. Dubrook is proud to support our local communities with plants in Clarion, Du Bois, St. Mary's, Butler, Evans City, Bradford, and Meadville. Call 1-844-382-7665.
This is a great show.
Hey, check out this all-new 2024 Chevrolet Trax 1RS in cacti green. Let's talk about some of those safety features. We have blind spot monitoring system, we have forward collision system with alert and brake, and we have lane departure warning as well. How about the gas mileage?
30 mile per gallon average. Yeah, it's great. Bumper to bumper warranty and the 5-year 60,000 mile powertrain warranty.
And check out the clarity on this backup camera on this 11-inch touchscreen. Can you believe you get all the features like heated steering wheel, heated seats, remote start, power sunroof, all for $24,900?
It's a great value in the new Chevrolet. Hey, check out this Glacier Blue RST Silverado 4x4 Z71 four-wheel drive, 5.3 liter V8. It's a really nice, sharp truck. All LT and RST Silverados have this same interior. Got this really large touchscreen display, built-in Google Maps, heated seats, automatic climate control, heated steering wheel. We have a backup camera, really great display, and all the safety aspects. Adaptive parking, adaptive braking, pedestrian braking, blind spot mitigation.
Follow us to Redbank Chevrolet.
Welcome back to the Redbank Chevrolet Main Street Sports Show. Just a real quick segment here, wrapping things up. I know we've got a big game on Saturday, and that'll kind of conclude, well, it will literally conclude our basketball season coverage. You'll be there. What's going on?
Well, I won't be there, but
you won't be there.
I'll be watching. The Franklin boys are playing Devon Prep on Saturday. That's going to be an interesting game because Devon Prep is a team that plays a lot of 6A schools, but they are an actual 3A school. They're out of District 12. They won their championship. Franklin is the 2 seed out of District 10, but they have been on a roll, knocking off Girard, I know. They always go up against the Yellow Jackets, and last year lost to them. This year they were able to win. So do want to wish Franklin the best of luck coming up on Saturday. I know we will have some folks out there with some coverage for us. So
of course.
We'll have that. And also congratulations, Kennedy Catholic girls in District 10. One of, not too far away from us, beat Marion Center today, 42-40. So championship for them.
Absolutely. And then just in general, spring sports season is kicking up with track and field, softball, baseball coming soon. And that's pretty much where we're at right now in the swing of things in high school sports.
Yeah, it is. And hopefully this spring, Mr. Bauer, we can get you some baseball and softball. I know we're going to try. And we also were talking about, keep your fingers crossed, about a track meet too, is in the mix. So those are some things we'd like to add to our repertoire. And it's we like to try to bring all we can. So this will be some new avenues for us too.
Absolutely. Our next show will be next Thursday as well. We'll have a little bit of a shakeup because the legendary Bob Dunkel will be traveling north.
He is legendary.
Yeah. And that'll conclude our episode today. We want to thank all of our guests for coming on, all of our sponsors that make this show possible. That's the Explore Clarion Main Street Sports Show, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet.